Every Sunday without fail, I used to trip over my guitar cable or my in-ear cables. Now, it's really only the grace of God that I never fell over tripping, because this, it wasn't for a lack of an attempt. How much would you be willing to spend to never trip over another cable in your life? If you're a musician in a small congregation, this is what I'd recommend for you. What is up, Yoshis? My name is Beth and I run Steadfast, Ascent, and I gotta admit, I'm a cheapskate. So my wireless system is really the bare bones budgetary system. I don't have fancy Shure in-ear headphones. I use a pair I got off of Amazon. I don't have a fancy Shure wireless system. I use XVive's newest U4. And the only reason my guitar is wireless is because I bought the wireless PodGo pedal board. I killed two birds with one stone. The pedal board sounds great, and I get to jump around like a maniac up to 100 feet away. Now, I realize there are cheaper options, but I've ended up with this simply because it gets the job done. And I'm the only musician who's wireless. So I don't have to compete with frequencies. I don't have to worry about any of those things. I haven't had any issues with this system because I'm the only one using it. So if you're wanting to replicate this, I would 10 out of 10 recommend the KZN headphones that I use. My favorite thing about them is that the earpieces are separatable from the wire piece. So when you're replacing them, you can just replace the wire or you can just replace the heads. And they have two drivers, which makes them super great. Now, if you want to be all fancy pants, you can send hundreds of dollars to Shure so that they can have a mold of your ear and so it can sound amazing. And I know a lot of the musicians on our worship teams seem to think that the simple Shures have the best sound for the buck. But what do I look like, an audiophile? Heck no, I'm just interested in the cheapest solution to my problem of wanting to bounce around like crazy. Now, when it comes to cutting my guitar cable, I went with the PodGo. While I haven't personally used a separate Line 6 G10 relay, I would trust the system based on the fact that I use that very system on my pedal board all the time. But if you really want it to be fancy, XVive also has a simple version of those. And Shure is, of course, the industry standard and also the most expensive one. And once I had the PodGo, really all I needed was an in-ear wireless system. And the best one that I found for what I was really looking for, something that I could plug into our church's Behringer and something that would just chill and clip onto my guitar strap, the XVive U4 was the best thing I could find. I'm having some issues because it's based on broadband, so it's on the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum, which is basically where all of the Wi-Fi is. So once a lot of people get into the sanctuary, I have some issues with dropouts and stuff, but it hasn't been enough to concern me or stop me from bouncing around with no cables attached. The one I wanted to get was the Carvin, but that one is sold out on Reverb. So. And if I had, sold my soul, I would have gotten the Shure. But for one musician, I just couldn't justify the expense. So really, I went with a more budget option. All in all, I cannot recommend enough how freeing it has been to go wireless. And not just because I almost died once a Sunday, because I did almost die once a Sunday. It's helped clean up my space on the stage. And that makes it look nicer, and it makes me feel better about my space, and it makes me feel more confident in my playing. More confident mostly because I'm not worried about tripping over my cables. It's not hard to set yourself up to be completely wireless, and as long as you have your sound engineers okay, I would 100% recommend pursuing a wireless setup for yourself. If you have any questions about my specific setup, feel free to let us know in the comments, and I've linked to my favorite products in the description, so feel free to help yourself out and go take a look at what we've got there. Do you think there's a better system out there? Do you think there's a cheaper way to do this? Let us know! Thanks for watching, I hope we'll see you next time.